Welcome to this premium masterclass on the science of professional carpet care. If you've ever battled a stubborn stain or just watched your really expensive flooring lose its texture and vibrancy over time, you are absolutely in the right place. Today, we're moving way past those casual internet myths and quick fix cleaning tips. Instead, we're going to demystify the actual chemistry and physics of carpet fibers, and we're going to replace those destructive, reactive DIY habits with a rigorous, professional-grade framework. Let's get started.
Here's our curriculum for today's training. We'll start by exposing costly DIY carpet mistakes, then move right into understanding your carpet fibers, followed by the carpet care pyramid and a breakdown of steam versus dry cleaning. Finally, we'll equip you with science-backed DIY hacks and the golden rules of maintenance. All right, let's dive straight into Module 1, costly DIY carpet mistakes and exactly what you're doing wrong. So here are the 5 critical mistakes we see homeowners making all the time: scrubbing stains, overwetting fibers, using harsh pH household chemicals, renting underpowered machines, and relying on supermarket deodorizing powders. Now, I know a lot of these seem intuitively helpful in the moment, but chemically and structurally, they are incredibly destructive. Take those rental cleaning machines, for instance. They almost always lack the necessary industrial suction, which means they leave behind this abrasive grit that acts exactly like sandpaper every single time you walk on it. And those supermarket deodorizing powders, they sink deep into the backing, mix with ambient moisture in the air, and actually create a permanent crunchy paste that degrades your carpet's structure from the inside out.
Think about your very first instinct when a spill happens. You want to scrub it, right? Well, actually, scratch that. Scrubbing is the worst thing you can do. Let's look at the physics of scrubbing versus blotting. Scrubbing causes aggressive lateral friction that literally frays the fine twisted yarns of your carpet into a permanent fuzzy texture. It's a structural breakdown, and you cannot reverse it once it happens. Blotting, on the other hand, relies on capillary action. It uses a clean towel to safely absorb the liquid straight upward without pushing that contaminant any deeper into the backing.
And that brings us to another massive error: overwetting. Overwetting triggers a super frustrating scientific process known as wicking. Wicking is the process where embedded dirt at the very base of the carpet basically migrates up the wet fibers as they dry. This is exactly why a stain you thought you had perfectly cleaned magically reappears 2 days later. Pore section leaves water locked inside the carpet pad. Not only does that cause this wicking effect, but it creates a perfect, dark breeding ground for mold and mildew. Let's move on to Module 2, understanding your carpet fibers, because the chemistry here absolutely matters. Look, there is a literal night and day difference in the fiber chemistry between synthetics and naturals. Synthetics, like nylon and polyester, are incredibly resilient. They handle high heat and heavy moisture exceptionally well. Natural fibers, though, like wool or sisal, completely different beasts. They are highly delicate, incredibly absorbent, and extremely prone to permanent shrinkage or browning if you handle them incorrectly. Treating a natural wool carpet the exact same way you treat a synthetic one is a guaranteed recipe for irreversible damage. Shifting gears now to Module 3, the carpet care pyramid. This is your professional framework. Walk through this framework with me. Down at the base, we have prevention, using robust entry mats to stop soil before it ever even enters the building. Next up is routine maintenance, which is primarily strategic, daily vacuuming. Then comes spot treatment for an immediate spill response. And finally, way up at the very top, deep cleaning for periodic structural resets. The thing is, most homeowners flip this entire pyramid upside down. They wait for the carpet to look absolutely filthy, and then they try to aggressively deep clean it. Elite professionals spend the vast majority of their energy on prevention and routine maintenance to protect the asset long-term. Which brings us nicely to Module 4, steam versus dry cleaning, and how to actually choose your method. Okay, let's break down the technical differences here. Steam cleaning, which is technically known as hot water extraction, flushes out deep allergens and is perfectly suited for those durable synthetic fibers we just discussed. Dry cleaning, or low moisture cleaning, uses specialized chemical absorbents, dries incredibly fast, and is absolutely required for those delicate natural fibers like wool or tight Berber loops. You literally must choose your method based on your specific carpet fiber. Using heavy steam extraction on a highly absorbent sisal or wool carpet can cause severe water damage and permanent shrinkage. Now for the really practical stuff. Module 5, science-backed DIY hacks that are actually safe and effective. Think of this matrix as your ultimate professional cheat sheet for stain chemistry. You simply cannot treat a protein stain, like blood or milk, with the same chemical you'd use for an oil stain, like grease. It just won't work. Protein stains require an enzyme cleaner to literally digest the organic matter. Oil stains repel water, so they require a degreaser or a dry absorbent like cornstarch to physically lift the lipid molecules. And dye stains, like wine or coffee, they require an oxygen cleaner to break down the actual pigments. It's all about matching the chemistry to the contaminant. When you do that, you win.
Okay, we have to address the elephant in the room and debunk the most common internet hack out there. Using vinegar and baking soda to clean a carpet works best when they are used completely separately, not dumped together in one foamy experiment that just neutralizes itself. Mixing an acid and a base creates a visually satisfying fizz, sure, but chemically, you are essentially just making water with a little bit of salt. It is completely useless for cleaning. Instead, use baking soda entirely on its own to absorb odors, and use white vinegar separately to break down alkaline dirt.
Now here is a brilliantly simple science-backed trick for those stubborn, heavy furniture dents. The ice cube trick. Step 1. Place an ice cube directly in the dent. Step 2. Let it melt completely. Step 3. Blot the excess water. And step 4. Gently fluff the pile with a spoon or your fingers. The real magic here is the slow melt. It provides the exact right amount of hydration and a gentle thermal cycle to reset the synthetic fibers pile memory, all without risking any water damage to the carpet backing below. And what about accidental wax spills? Well, we use thermodynamics for that, the iron method. First, you have to let the wax harden completely. Never, ever smear warm wax. Then, cover it with a brown paper bag or a clean towel. Next, apply an iron on low heat. You will literally watch the wax melt and transfer right up into the towel via capillary action. But listen to me closely on this. It is absolutely imperative to use low heat. If it's too hot, you'll permanently melt the synthetic carpet fibers themselves. 3%. Write that down. That is the maximum safe concentration for hydrogen peroxide when you are treating biological dye stains, like blood, on a light-colored carpet. Hydrogen peroxide is great. It works by releasing oxygen molecules that brilliantly break down colored compounds. But using a concentration higher than 3% is a massive risk because it can permanently bleach out the actual dye of the carpet itself. Always respect the chemistry, and of course, always test a hidden spot first. All right, let's rapid fire some advanced, highly effective DIY solvents you probably already have sitting around your house. WD-40 is incredible for lifting oily, sticky residues like makeup or gum because it rapidly breaks down grease. Beer, yes, beer, can actually be used to break down the specific tannins found in coffee or tea stains. White wine can be poured over a fresh red wine spill to neutralize the red anthocyanin pigments right before you extract them. And regular plain old shaving cream acts as a fantastic lifting soap because of its built-in surfactants. I know these might sound crazy, but they are all grounded in strict chemical principles. Finally, Module 6, the golden rules of maintenance. This is your insider knowledge. First off, you really need to understand the ultimate structural failure we are trying to prevent here: delamination. This is the physical separation of the carpet's primary and secondary backing. It's typically caused by severe overwetting, heat shock, or that destructive DIY scrubbing we talked about earlier. Once a carpet delaminates, it bubbles, it ripples, and honestly, it cannot be saved. Following these professional rules is entirely about protecting this hidden structural integrity. So here's the crucial point, and it's a major paradigm shift. Vacuuming is a preservation strategy. It is not just a cleaning activity. Most people think of vacuuming as a quick chore just to make the room look tidy for guests. In reality, it removes microscopic, highly abrasive grit from the base of the pile before it can physically cut, scratch, and damage your fibers with every single footstep. Slow, methodical, overlapping vacuum passes are literally the most important thing you can do for your carpet's lifespan. 15. That is the magic number. It's the absolute minimum number of minutes, the minimum dwell time needed for your cleaning agents to actually work. Whether you're letting baking soda sit to absorb odors or giving a targeted vinegar solution time to break down soils, you must let the chemistry do the heavy lifting before you extract it. A huge majority of DIY cleaning failures happen simply because the product is wiped away way too quickly. To wrap up this masterclass, I want to leave you with a provocative question to really think about. If professional maintenance and scientific understanding can extend the life of your carpet by a full decade, what is the true hidden cost of your reactive DIY habits? You now have the knowledge, the precise frameworks, and the chemistry to treat your carpets like the premium assets they actually are. Stop reacting, start preventing, and use these elite systems to maintain a pristine, healthy environment in your home. Thanks for joining me.